a real world, Christmas is quite a fun time, no doubt, but in the Doctor Who world, it's about trying to survive the holidays with your life intact. Doctor Who Christmas specials are packed with the alien attacks and sci-fi weirdness that Doctor Who is known for, and for the Doctor, this usually meant that their Christmases weren't exactly relaxing. Rather, they consistently ranked among their most memorable and action-packed adventures, full of important and often saddening events like regenerations, companion deaths, and final goodbyes to fan-favourite characters. With that in mind, I'm Will for Who Culture, and here are the 10 worst things that have ever happened to the Doctor at Christmas. 10. Dying in an alternate timeline. Dying might seem like it should be higher up on a list like this, but we're putting it in last place because it only happened in an alternate timeline, one that was eventually erased. We see this timeline in Series 4's Turn Left, which, while not a Christmas special, shows us a parallel version of The Runaway Bride, which is a Christmas special. In this timeline, Donna Noble never meets the 10th Doctor, meaning she isn't there to save him during his confrontation with the Ragnos. As a result, the Doctor becomes completely consumed by rage and ends up drowning himself, along with the emptiness of the Ragnos' children, by flooding a chamber with water. As well as being a tragic incident in its own right, the Doctor's death also ends up being disastrous for the entire human race, as he isn't there to save them when aliens attack. And because this is Doctor Who, that happens a lot. 9. Getting his brain sucked out by a dream crab. The 2014 Christmas special was a literal nightmare for the 12th Doctor. Not only did he have the difficult task of trying to discern dream from reality, but he also spent a good chunk of the episode having his brains munched on by horrifying aliens called Cantrafari, also known as brain crabs. These facehugger-esque creatures attach themselves to the faces of their victims, drill into their temples, and start slowly dissolving their brains. And even though the dream crabs place their victims into a comfortable dream state, it's still quite a disturbing situation for the Doctor to find himself in. In the end though, the Doctor was able to escape the dream crabs with a little help from Santa, and his brains were prevented from being turned into bland, mushy goop. 8. Suffering from post-companion depression. Many of the Christmas specials we've had over the years have followed on from an episode in which the Doctor loses a companion, and so quite a few of these specials have found the Doctor suffering from post-companion depression. For example, The Runaway Bride came directly after Rose's departure in Doomsday. The Snowmen caught up with the Doctor after his loss of Amy and Rory in The Angels Take Manhattan, and the return of Dr. Mysterio followed on from Doctor's final night with his wife, River Song, in The Husbands of River Song. In these 3 Christmas specials, the Doctor is shown to be quite miserable, often being more angry and reckless due to the emotional pain he feels after recently losing his companions. 7. Watching the Master take over the Earth. The End of Time Part 1 was broadcast on Christmas Day 2009, and is in contention for one of the Doctor's most stressful adventures. It opens with the Master coming back to life, not good, then shows him killing a bunch of innocent people, even more not good. The Doctor then gets all teary-eyed about his imminent death before being attacked by the Master, who uses an immortality gate to splice his genetic template onto every single human on planet Earth, effectively giving him billions of clones with which to cause untold amounts of mayhem and misery. This is one Christmas episode the Doctor would probably want to forget. 6. Getting his hand chopped off. Another eventful Christmas for the 10th Doctor. 2005's The Christmas Invasion was his first proper outing in his brand new body, and during a final battle with the Sycorax leader, the durability of that body was put to the test. As it turns out, the 10th Doctor is quite adept at sword fighting, so when he challenges the Sycorax leader to a duel, he manages to hold his own for a significant portion of the fight, until disaster strikes when he gets his hand chopped off. Okay, it's not really a disaster because fortunately the Doctor had only just regenerated, and thus his body contained enough residual cellular energy to allow him to regrow that lost hand in an instant. So yes, the Doctor is ultimately unscathed, but he still seems pretty distressed in the seconds following the loss of his hand, so it can't have been a pleasant experience. 5. Fighting in a centuries-long war. While most of the Doctor's festive outings take place within a short amount of time, the 2013 Christmas special was a long day at the office for the 11th Doctor. After being drawn to a message emanating from a planet called Trenzalore, the Doctor finds himself engaging in a centuries-long conflict against countless alien foes. This gives the Doctor a big old problem to deal with, and in order to protect the innocent residents of a local town called Christmas, he takes it upon himself to repel these alien invaders, leading to that aforementioned centuries-long conflict. This was a truly noble act on the Doctor's part, and overall, defending Trenzalore was easily one of the most difficult things he's ever done. 4. Losing ASTRID and CLARA. The Doctor loses companions, friends, and acquaintances in almost every episode, and Christmas is no different. The Doctor is a beacon of hope, yes, but they're also a beacon of danger and death, something that many characters find out the hard way. That is certainly true in the cases of Astrid Perth and Victorian Clara Oswald, two one-and-done companions who the 10th and 11th Doctors lost in Voyage of the Damned and The Snowmen respectively. Even though they didn't know him for very long, both characters were hugely important to the Doctor. They impressed him with their courage and quick thinking, and he was so fond of them that he wanted them to become full-time companions once their adventures were over, which, of course, never happened. Instead, the Doctor was left with 2 more deaths to weigh on his soul. 3. Losing Handles. Handles was a little different from the other Doctor Who companions. For one thing, he was a severed Cyberman head, and for another, he didn't just work with the Doctor for a single brief adventure, he worked with him for the vast portion of the Siege of Trenzalore. This siege stretched on for centuries, and because of this, Handles is actually one of the longest serving companions in the history of the show. This in mind, it's no surprise the Doctor is absolutely heartbroken when Handles shuts down halfway through the time of the Doctor. The Doctor spoke to Handles like he was a living, breathing person. The two of them were partners for hundreds of years, and Handles was a constant companion the Doctor could rely on throughout the siege. It's amazing how attached the Doctor was to this funny little robot head, and in the end, Handles' death hit him with an emotional wallop that's normally reserved for the departures of regular TARDIS companions. 2. Regeneration. From our perspective as fans, regeneration can be looked at as an exciting change that brings a fresh look at our favourite show. From the Doctor's perspective though, it doesn't seem like there's a positive side to be found whatsoever. Just look at all the evidence. Prior to regenerating, the Doctor often gives a long speech about how much they'll miss their current body, and how much they don't want to go. And then, there's also the fact that actually getting to a regeneration requires some sort of fatal injury. In short, regeneration is quite a bad thing to happen to the Doctor, and the 2 times that it's happened at Christmas, in The Time of the Doctor and in Twice Upon a Time, weren't exactly moments of festive cheer for him, or for fans of those particular Doctors. 1. Saying a final goodbye to several companions. This is actually a new Who trend that Russell T Davies kicked off on New Year's Day of 2010, where the 10th Doctor visited his first companion, Rose Tyler, to see her one last time before his regeneration fully kicked in. Once established, we saw several occasions where the Doctor had his final moments with his companions occur on Christmas Day. Amy Pond and the 11th Doctor reunited for an emotional scene in The Time of the Doctor, the 12th Doctor spent a final night with River Song in The Husbands of River Song, and later on, that same Doctor said one last goodbye to Clara, Bill, and Nardole in Twice Upon a Time. The people who travel around with the Doctor, his companions, are the most important things in his universe. These final goodbyes are some of the hardest things the Doctor has ever had to go through, not just at Christmas, but all year round. And there you have it folks, the 10 worst things that have happened to the Doctor at Christmas. Feel free to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop me a follow on Twitter at uslidowgu. I'm Will for Who Culture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.